Well, good morning. Welcome to Play the Game with Steve. And today we're gonna go over a little bit of Ms. Marvel. She is definitely my favorite character in the game. Um, and just because of her unique mechanic, the ability to use her hero ability, morphogenetics, to recur events. She's so unique in her stats. Um, like 111, a lot of folks will watch that 111 stat and be like, "Oh my God, this is terrible. Like, what kind of hero is she?" But then if you're looking at this in that way, right there you're getting the wrong first impression because she could be a 000 and it wouldn't matter. She's just so powerful because of her ability to bring back events to your hand. So even though sometimes you have a 5 card hand size, well, most of the times you'll probably just have a 6 card because when you play your event, you get to bring it back and then you get to play it again. So that's one of the cool features about Miss Marvel is whatever your best event is, you can always bring that back and you can play it again, or you can save it for the next one. Now, I've talked about the Beyond the Precon, and I kind of want to dive into this as well. Like, okay, what am I doing? Her kit came in protection, and I think one of the most powerful cards in her protection kit is the Tackle. That card, it just allows you, so you come in, you stun the villain, and then you bring it back. And then just stay up. I'm like, and then just like, okay, the villain's not going to attack me this turn. Cool. What else can I do? What else can I do? So you're limiting the villain's activations. And if he attacks you again, well, then you have super cool defense cards like Wiggle Room that just prevent the damage. And you could bring it back or not, depending on what strategy you're wanting to go. So that's super cool. And here in her hero kit, she also came with a couple of extra bonus cards. And I think the best one, if you're gonna try anything with Ms. Marvel, is she comes in with the Concussive Blow. Now, Ms. Marvel is a character that really, really wants to go down to Alter Ego because she has such an amazing support team in her kit. So she has Amir Khan that allows you to place one of your cards at the bottom of your deck and draw a card, which is great. You have Nakia Bahadir, which is basically a helicarrier. And then you have Bruno Carelli, who allows you to save cards for a later date, like for later. So if we're just looking at this, so technically, plus her hero ability, even if you have no cards in hand, by the time you use her Teen Spirit ability, use Nakia, and use Amir Khan, in Alter Ego, you just got a bonus of 3 cards, which is crazy. It's so powerful. It seems like, okay, well, what am I going to do? I'm in Alter Ego. What can I do in Alter Ego? Well, if there's a card, an attack card you want to keep, let's say a Concussive Blow, you can just keep it under Bruno Carelli, and save it until you flip the hero form. Awesome sauce. You know, you can play one of her supports, you can play one of her cards. It's very cool. I really like Red Dagger with this because you can always have him in hand, hold him, and then use her Teen Spirit, use Amir Khan, and use Nakia. And even with only Red Dagger in hand, you can play him. It's so crazy. That's why it's so good. Now, again, leaning into cards like in aggression, like I see a lot of folks just try to play her in aggression because yes, she has these cool effects that can, embiggen whatever event you have, which is really good. So whatever the event is, you can deal more damage. Now with her kit, she also comes with a super awesome one, which is melee, which it might look bad, but it's deal 3 damage to an enemy and 3 damage to another enemy. But once you combine this with a card like Embiggen, well, now you're dealing 5 damage to one enemy and 5 damage to another, which is amazing. And then you can bring that back, and then, so for 3 resources, you just dealt 10 damage to 2 different enemies. So that is why it's so powerful. She also has a resource generator for events, which is the suit. So once you're combining this, now you're only paying 2. You're bringing that card back. It comes back to your hand. You have it for next time. So technically it only costs you 1 to deal 10 damage, which is super broken. And that's just with her pre-constructed deck. There's a lot of minions. Well, in the core set, you do have the, what's it called? The Relentless Assault. So that's 5 damage with overkill. Sweet. I pay with a physical. I'm always guaranteed to have a physical with my bio suit. And then with Embiggen, that's 7 damage to a minion. Most minions have 3 or 4 health, which is great. And then you go and you deal the damage to the boss. You bring back that event, and then you can do it again if there's a second minion in front of you. So that's, again, you're always going to go through. Now you can Embiggen it the next time, but at least you were able to take care of both minions with 1 card. And this is where the strength is in her kit, is because you're never going to use her basic ability. You're never using her thwart. You're never using her attack or her defense. It's irrelevant. It's not part of her mechanical design. So you don't want that. You don't want to play into that. You don't need to. So that's why it's very interesting that when you want to build her, you want to build her with events, and a lot of events, because those events, or whatever the best event is what you're going to want to play over and over. So if you're in aggression and you want to stun the villain, we have cards that stun. Imagine like one of the cool cards from Wasp, and the other one is Into the Fray. So Into the Fray with her, if there's a 1 health minion, imagine how much threat you can be removing from the main scheme. That's so good. So you're doing 8 damage. So technically, if there's only the 1 health, you're removing 7 threat and dealing 8 damage to a minion. That's crazy. So now your attack cards do so much better. So, and then you can bring it back. So if the main scheme is like out of control, well, just with her ability, you can take care of it. And if there's no more minion into play, you can keep that card, bring it back anyway, and then pay for, let's say, one of her thwart events. There you go. So now, now I can use this card to pay for this card, and then I can remove 3 threat. But wait, if I have a shrink, which is, it increases the amount of threat that card removes by 2. So now it removes 5 threat. And again, if you're focusing more on justice build or on aggression, depending on what you want, Ms. Marvel can really, really go to town with anything. So I think this is where this becomes interesting. All right, so let's take a look. We know that these cards are great, but all right, how do they work? So one of the things that I keep preaching when I play Ms. Marvel, and hey, if you're in the chat, say hi. I'd like to see who's watching. Or if you're just popping in and going, you're good. Wiggle Room. Wiggle Room is one of the best cards in the game. And it prevents 3 damage, and then you draw a card. So basically it replaces itself. Now, there's a bunch of decks that I've built with her. One of the decks is called Ms. Marvel Never Go Home. Because one of the big complaints when the game started and when she first came out is, oh, she always has to want to go to Alter Ego. So then it got my brain thinking, cool, how can I play into that strategy where she just wants to stay in hero form? Well, then I was thinking of looking at what the cards. Okay, so Wiggle Room is going to be the way to stay in the game. All right. And then from the core set, we got an upgrade that's super awesome. And with the rules regulations, once they changed the rules for defending, then this was super useful because then we got Indomitable, which came from the core set, and says after your hero defends, discard and ready your hero. So what's amazing is I play Wiggle Room, I exhaust, I have Indomitable on the field. I bring back my Wiggle Room because I played it. I bring it back to my hand after you play an attack or thwart event. I can do this. And then my response here is after my hero defends. Obviously, you have to resolve the entire attack. I just bring it back and ready. So then I can play my Wiggle Room again. So then I can go back and do this 2 more times, which is very, it's very powerful. So it's very, like the recursion mechanic is one of the most powerful in the game. And I'm going to keep saying that as much as I can because Ms. Marvel is just a powerhouse. All right, let's start. Let's take a look at deck building. So let's start with aggression. Let's see. I want to lean into an aggressive build. All right. What do I want to do? Let's say I want to play solo or I want to play in multiplayer. Well, the first thing we should do is some of the key cards we're going to want to put out is our Embiggen, and we're going to put out our Polymorph Suit. And I'm just going to look at the cards from the core set and what she came with. So obviously, this melee should obviously be an auto include when I'm building her in aggression. It's just too powerful. It's a mental resource and it does fun things. Powers of aggression, because if I want to be able to pay for these, I'm going to add some powers of aggression in my deck, for sure. Do I want to add some allies? Yeah, so we got Tigra that can deal with minions. And then we also had, I think, Hulk from the core set. So those 2 allies, if ever I don't have a Wiggle Room, I could always just block with Hulk. And then with Tigra is, well, okay, well, I dealt damage and then she can finish the minions off and just always stay on the table, which is very cool. So we can always put a couple of allies in our deck. They're cheap, they're fun, they're easy to play with. Now from the events that we have from the core set, so we have a lot of fun things. But yeah, so cards like 1x1 is really good with her because you can embiggen the 1x1 to deal, for 1, you do 4 damage to one enemy and then 4 damage to a second enemy if that first enemy was defeated. So that again is 1 card, 8 damage. You bring it back with your Morphogenics and then you can do it again, but then it's 2 damage and then 2 damage. So you're still, with the same card, you've dealt a total of 8, 10, maybe 12 damage with 2 cards. It's just so good. It's with the same card, you've dealt 12 damage. So any cards that has these little numbers on, it's always going to boost all of the effects on those cards. Now, cards that, you know, don't really work well with her, Skilled Strike. When I am ever going to do a basic attack with Ms. Marvel? Never. So these kind of cards, they're not good for her character. They don't make sense in her character. All right. Same thing for cards like Smash the Problem. Looking for Trouble if it's not a bad card. So you could actually, for 0, discard until you find a minion, and then you could remove 5 threat for 0. I'm like, at the cost of having a minion. So in aggression, Looking for Trouble is a great card. I do prefer the, what's it called? Chase Them Down. Because then I defeat an enemy and then I can remove 4 threat. But it's more circumstantial. Like, I have to have a minion. But if I don't have a minion, these Looking for Troubles, these come in the Guardians of the Galaxy box. So it comes with the Rocket Raccoon deck. So it's, like I said, this is a good card. And especially if you're playing aggression and you're looking into killing a lot of minions, this is a great card for Ms. Marvel. Smash the Problem is not, but toe-to-toe could be really fun. Toe-to-toe with an Embiggen is the villain attacks you, you play Wiggle Room, you draw it back. So you draw your, so if you have your Wiggle Room, you can Wiggle Room out of that attack and then bring that Wiggle Room back to have it for the villain phase and then do 5 damage, maybe 7 damage with your toe-to-toe. And that came in the Hulk pack. So that's another good card for Miss Marvel if you want to play into like, okay, the villain attacks and I really want to be heavy on the damage. Very cool. Press the Advantage. It's not a bad card for her if you are playing into Stun and Confuse. So that could be interesting because it allows you to draw more cards. So imagine you're playing with, what's the Hulk card that's really good there? The whole card called Dropkick, where you need to pay 3 and you stun him. And then you have, so you stun the villain, you draw a card, and then you press the advantage, draw a card, bring back it, draw another card. So you can really combo off with certain of these cards, but these require multiple packs. So this requires the Hulk pack again. This is the Rise of Red Skull box. So maybe not everyone has everything, but it just shows that how you can kind of combo off with certain aspects. So imagine, so you have a lot of fun things you can play. So you could, I'm just showing you like a way to combo off. So you have your biokinetic suit, you have your Embiggen, and then there's an upgrade in the Hulk pack that gives you the martial prowess, that gives you a resource for an attack card, or even if you have a power of aggression. So then you play that card, you stun the villain. Perfect. You don't bring it back. You're just like, okay, I've done it. You have press the advantage in hand. Perfect. I'm going to press the advantage, bring that card back, draw a card. Cool. I'm going to play it again, do 2 damage, do it again, and then I finish my turn with a toe-to-toe. And then boof, because he's stunned, he's not going to attack me, but I'm still going to deal 5 damage. So in one turn, with just a couple of cards, you dealt 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You did almost 20 damage with one hand using the same events over and over. So this is like the fun combos that you can do with this character that are amazing. Surprise Attack from the Wasp hero pack is one of the best cards. If you're going to lead into going into Alter Ego, I highly recommend having 3 of these in your deck. And what you do is if it doesn't work out, I just drew into it, you put it under Bruno, and then the next turn you put it in your hand, and then with this and the Embiggen is you flip back to hero form, you use your suit to deal 4 damage and Embiggen it, that's 6 damage, exhaust, bring it back, play it again. So this 1 cost card just dealt 10 damage to the villain. It's so good. Ms. Marvel is what got you excited, Descry? Exactly. She is so good, and a lot. I see a lot of folks really not leaning into this morphogenics, her ability to recur cards. I think that's what's missing the most. Now she can't play the magic attacks. No quarter with her is another crazy combo that you can do. That comes from the Nova pack. And then with the no quarter, all you do is you don't even put the double gray cards. You just put 25 aggression cards in her deck, or you can even go to 30 aggression cards. It doesn't really matter because with no quarter, when you start doing this with the Embiggen, you're doing 6 damage, and then you can bring it back. So you can just technically almost go through your deck and draw tons of cards with the no quarter. Super, super fun. Like we already talked about Relentless Assault. Quick Strike is one that doesn't really work with her. That came from Valkyrie because her attack, like I said, it doesn't matter. Clobber is an okay card with her because it just doubles up on her effect. So that's from Gamora's pack. That can be an interesting card to build with. So you deal 3 damage, you bring it back, then deal 3 damage, exhaust her, bring it back, and then deal 3 damage again. So it's not as optimal as a surprise attack, but it's more damage cards. So you can't go wrong. As one, that's more complicated to build because then you need Avengers and Guardian characters. But you could do it. You could build, like, you could have Hulk and then play some of the allies like Angela or Marvel Boy, and then you can just put Energy Spear on Marvel Boy, and now he attacks for 4, and then he's got a 3 attack. There's some upgrades that you can add him, and you're just using these guys to trigger off the as ones by exhausting these 2 characters, and then dealing. Oh, they're attacking for like 12 together, and boom. But again, that's a lot of setup. It's a lot of build for something that, it's more cheeky than anything. The Piercing Strike is a fun one from the the Rise of Red Skull pack. But the Melee, I think, is good. Into the Fray should always be an auto-include in the Ms. Marvel, because then you don't even need to lean into threat removal with her. You don't even have to worry, because you're just going to get rid of everything. And then the drop kicks are super fun. Even the uppercuts. Uppercut dealing 7, 5 damage, and 12. Again, it's very good. Even the uppercuts are not that bad with her. So those are just fun ways to lead into this, into the combos for aggression. And then obviously, if you're going to be going down, Hall of Heroes from the Thor Hero pack or the Valkyrie pack is awesome. Brute forces don't make any sense. Fluid motions don't make sense because, again, you're not going to be using, unless you're really building a super cheeky deck, which I'm inclined to do sometimes. So I would put the 3 brute forces in her deck, so bring her attack up to 4. I would add the 3 fluid motions, and then I would just play cards like the Quick Strike, and then just increase my attack with events, and just do a bunch of events, and then do Quick Strike for like 8 or 9, which is just cheeky. But again, that's just ways to play differently. There you go. One fun card with her is the follow-throughs, especially if you're going to be leaning into minion killing. Just dealing more excess damage is cool, and then it also helps if you're playing into the other strike card. And Hone Technique as well with Ms. Marvel, broken. Double mental, easy to pay, and then you always have a mental available to pay for your aggression events. So, and just makes him even stronger. It's just so good. So there you go, guys. So these are just like fun ideas that you can play around with Ms. Marvel in this aspect. And don't forget, there's some champion allies too that are pretty cool that you can add. We just got the champion ally Locust, which allows you to bring back an aggression event. It's so fun. And then who's the other guy? We got Bombshell. Not too keen on Bombshell, but if there's ways in a multiplayer game to make her very powerful, it could start being interesting. Like if somebody gives her the Guardian trait and then a spear, and then she can pierce everything. So that could be super fun. But those are like multiplayer ideas. All right. Now in protection, most people are like, "Oh, protection. Oh, it's." I've heard it so many times. Protection is her worst aspect. I'm like, that is so false. Protection is super fun with her. Like in protection, I don't even need to use my alter ego. Again, comboing off fairly simple with the perfect defense strategy with the wiggle rooms. You can watch, I think Nelson did a variant of a perfect defense deck with her. So Nelson from Nelson All Over, you can check that out. That was a pretty sweet game. And then yeah, and the way I play her, I really play into the wiggle rooms, perfect defense, and just have fun with that. It's just so good. Bring back the wiggle room, punch it again, and then what happens is I have a hand size of like, I start with 5 cards in hand and I end up with 7 at the end of my turn. I am exhausted, but I end up with 7 cards. Like, again, you can play into the villain is never going to attack me strategy with the tackle that comes from her kit. But there's also a lot of other fun cards that you can play with in protection that make sense. So aside from the resources and the other ones, cards that don't really make sense with her, like Expert Defense doesn't make sense. Defiance, it's not a bad card. And you can actually recur it. So if the villain's going to give you multiple boosts, so you know that you're going to have a perfect defense with your wiggle room. That's pretty fun to see. Leading Blow, even though her picture's on it, is not a good card for her. But this is pretty fun. There's ways to build around it. You can watch Descry's, what's it called? Venom candy snack or Venom snack thing, or Venom with the spider characters, using cards like Return to Favor, canceling treacheries. There's some really fun combos that you can do with this. And then for 0, you could do 7 damage. Yeah, you're revealing a treachery, but you know, it's definitely playable. 0 for 7 damage in protection is just super strong, but it does come with a cost. Perseverance is a fun one that you can just give her tough. Amazing. Get Behind Me's, again, if you're playing into that type of strategy. The sidesteps, very cool for her. So again, I use the sidesteps in my perfect defense strategy. So if ever my wiggle room doesn't cut it, I can just play a sidestep using my biosuit to deal an extra damage. So always fun. I'm not a big fan of the preemptive strikes, just because the boosts are often too irregular. Like, unless I'm playing against Sinister Assault, where I know like there's going to be everything's a 3 boosts. All my cards are 3 boosters. Then this starts to make a lot more sense, and you can bring it back, which is cool. With your Morphogenics. Desperate Defense doesn't make sense with her. Anything that says if your hero defends, your hero doesn't want to defend. She wants to defend with events. True Grit doesn't make sense. First Hit, this is what a card I saw Nelson play. And for me, I hadn't give this card much attention. But when he played it, it made sense. The minion initiated an attack. And then he used his suit and then embiggened it. And then killed the minion with 4 damage before he attacked. So that was pretty cool. I think he got his Shadows of the Past, so that was pretty fun to see. The villain attacks you, remove 4 threat. It's another way to control threat, but since she has 3 copies of her thwart events, you don't really need these types of events. Subdue is not something I like. Play Shake It Off, Never Back Down doesn't make sense. Jump Flip is another fun one that you can use, but it only prevents 2 damage, which is why I prefer the sidestep, because it prevents another 3. So between the wiggle room and the sidestep, I've prevented 6 damage for 1 cost. I think it's better than Jump Flip, but Jump Flip does remove threat if you pay with a lightning, so that can make sense for you. If depending on the scenario you're playing, oh, it's a very schemy villain. Okay, perfect. Let's add these Jump Flips instead of the sidestep. We don't really need the damage, but we need the threat control, and then this makes more sense. So that's why when you're building, you can adapt to the scenarios. She can't play Ever Vigilant. Moment of Triumph is a fun one with her, because again, she can heal 2 if you want to stay, and then deal 4 damage to an enemy when you embiggen it. So it's pretty good. Venom Happy Meal. There you go. I knew it was a McDonald's thing. I just couldn't remember what the name was. Thanks, Descry. But again, tackles, these are just great. So I'll tackle the villain, boof, bring it back. In solo, this card is amazing. It just negates all the villain's stuff. I really like the Hard Knocks. Oh, when you combo it with Return the Favor. Yeah, exactly. That's the combo I was trying to talk about. That I was really impressed with that, by the way. That was a super, super good thing. Hard Knocks is super fun because you can just always be tough. You just put one of these in your deck, and then bang, you kill a minion, 6 damage with the Embiggen, you're tough, bring it back, and then you save it under Bruno for a later day. Or you keep it for the next turn. Villain attacks me, okay, whatever, don't care. And then you're always in hero form. So these are the fun cards that you can really play with. And because of those wiggle rooms, all these perfect defense strategy cards, like the Dauntless, Hard to Ignores, you could play the Energy Barriers, Nerves of Steel, Flow Like Water, because her events have the defense trait. So then you're dealing tons of damage while staying in Alter Ego. So the protection Never Go Home deck is probably the best one. My favorite way to play her. But that's just because I love protection. And then with these Indomitables, you just keep recurring these events over and over. It's just too good. But if you're a new player, I really recommend Justice with her, because the Justice aspect will allow you to go down to Alter Ego and really use the abilities of her Alter Ego personas without fearing of losing. Because of the concussive blow that comes in her precon deck as a bonus card, you can always choose to play the concussive blow, bring it back, flip down, play it under Bruno, and then that's it. And then Bruno saves this card. Then you do your next thing. You go back to hero form. You concussive blow again. Then the villain is never going to be able to scheme. He is going to be confused the entire game. And you only need one copy of this. You can put 2 copies to make sure that you see it in the opportune time. But 1 or 2 copies of this is all you need. If you're putting 3 copies, you're going to be like, oh, well, then you always know that it can always be a resource for what you need. But yeah, in Justice, again, let's take a look at the Justice events without having to look at the allies. Because allies are just the same. So boom, boom, boom. There's our cards. I'm going to have a big mess here. I'm just putting tons of cards everywhere. All right, so yeah. So what are the best cards with her? One way or another, not really. Great Responsibility is a fun card with her because she has a 5 recovery. This prevents, so you cannot shrink it to make it prevent more. But it is a fun card with her where she can just Great Responsibility all the threat and be like, whatever. Foiled is another great card for her that came in the Doctor Strange pack. It's because if you want to stay in Alter Ego on your first turn, it makes perfect sense. Turn the Tide. Now this is a money card from the Scarlet Witch pack. Man, so you remove all the threat, which is very easy to do with her, and then you bring this back and you do 0 and big in it, 5 damage, bring this card back and do 8 damage with a 0 cost card. This is why I tell you, she is one of the most powerful characters in this game. And if you haven't seen this yet, and if me explaining this is not it's not clicking, I don't know how to help. But again, cards like Clear the Area, perfect. I use this, I remove 2 threat, draw a card. If I have my Shrink, I remove 4 threat and draw a card. Then I want to play cards like One Way or Another to go get side schemes and then draw more cards off of that. So it's so fun to play these cards. And then, man, okay, well, I'll remove all the threat from this one. I'll draw a card. I'll bring it back. I'll remove all the threat from the main scheme, draw another card. So for the same card, I drew 2 extra cards. It's just so good. And then I still have everything in my hand that I want to play. Lay Down the Law. If you're playing in multiplayer, this is the money card. This is, I'll be an Alter Ego. I'll flip up the hero. I'll remove 4 threat using my suit. I'll bring it back. I'll shrink it. I'll remove 6 threat. I'll bring it back, play it again, remove 10 threat. Removing 10 threat with 1 card. I'm like, no other hero can do this. No other hero can remove 10 threat with a 1 cost card. It's so good. That's why I love this card so much. Again, if you want to play into the Confused, this is it's a nice fun one. If you're like, oh, my Justice deck doesn't have a lot of damage, Scare Tactics, especially if you're combining it with the concussive blows, then you're like, okay, well, I'll do 1 and I'll deal 5 damage to the villain because I can embiggen it. So now I have some uses for my cards. I would say she doesn't really need attack cards because of her other kits, but you can use other ways to remove threat. Multitasking, another Scarlet Witch pack with her is just amazing. Multitasking, you remove 2 threat. With the other one is you remove 4 threat and 4 threat if you paid with a mental. That's 8 threat off of 2 schemes, like 4 and 4. You bring it back and then you remove 6 and 6. So you remove 12 threat total with 1 card. It's just so good. Making an Entrance is one of those cards that is not good with her because you're never going to use your basic events. Impede, again, it's kind of like the Clobber. So this one's interesting. So you remove 3 threat, you bring it back, remove 3 threat, but it's only from the main scheme, which is why I don't particularly enjoy this card. Now this is one of the weird ones that with her makes a lot of fun sense. So this is, even if you're in solo, you remove 1 per player, so +2. So you would remove 3 threat from each scheme. It's pretty crazy. It's one of those crazy combo cards. So if you're removing with the shrink here, if there's a 4-player game, you're paying 2 to remove 4 from everything, +2 is you're removing 6 from everything with even the odds and Ms. Marvel in a multiplayer game. Removing 6 from everything, bringing it back, and then removing another 4, it's 10. So if you're removing 10 threat from everything for 2 cost. Oh, is it side schemes that? Oh yeah, sorry, you're right, Brent. Side schemes only. Hey, I'm almost finished here. So I know we're playing a game at 10:30, so I just wanted to talk about Ms. Marvel and just learn to play her a little bit. I'll be ready after this. Same card for For Justice. Super fun card with her. Again, not as efficient as Lay Down the Law, but if you don't have the hero pack, For Justice does pretty much the same thing. So you're removing 6 threat and 10 threat, but it's costing you a little bit more. But you don't have to flip up. So if you're already in hero form, this card works. So there's the upside on this. Brains over Brawn doesn't do anything. Pivotal Moment is always pretty interesting with her because your threat level should always be pretty much to 0. So it's a 2 cost to deal 5 damage. So again, ways to deal damage in Justice, always money. Stealth Strike, very good. 6 damage to an enemy if you embiggen it. Remove 2 threat from a scheme, always good. Crisis Averted, another multiplayer sensational card. So this you can remove up to 8 threat for 3 and you ignore Crisis. This is obviously an auto include. It came from, again, the Scarlet Witch pack. So all these really high justice cards for Ms. Marvel in this pack. And then Concussive Blows is the money card. And then there's Problem Solvers. Again, if you want to play in a multiplayer game, this can be really fun, especially if you have an Avenger. The thing is, most of these allies, justice cards to play with her. And then from the Quicksilver pack, obviously, Boof, as a sense of justice. But Heroic Intuition, you're never going to put this on her. You don't want to put this on her. So there you go. So those are like the fun ways to play with Ms. Marvel here. Just with the basic cards, like just some of the upgrades. But it's leaning into that mechanic. That is what's most important, is if you're trying to use a basic attack or a basic, you are forgetting the idea of this character, which is play the events. Use the events. Her basic stats mean nothing. And if you go in like that, you're always going to have a great time with Ms. Marvel. So there you go. So I do have a commitment with Brant, but I could play a quick game. I'm just going to use a pre-con deck. Just let me know what would you like to see. I'm going to just play Rhino on standard just to show you mechanically how it works. So what would you guys like to see? Protection, justice, or aggression? Let me, there's like 5, 6, 7 of you in the stream right now. So what would you like to see her in for a quick game against a standard Rhino, just to show off her mechanically? Anybody that's still paying attention? Or maybe I don't do anything. Like, take your time and play. I may have to run an errand or two, so go ahead and play and then send me a message. All right, cool, Brett. All right, so what aspect intrigues you the most? Or would you just like to see the Never Go Home deck? Which, for me, it's the most fun I've had with her ever. So, but I know not everyone will like that strategy. I am particularly a fan of it, but it's up to you guys. You guys are watching. You are here with me live, so why not? I'm here listening to what you guys have to say. I'm going to give you 10 seconds, and then I'm going to go randomly. Aggression is my vote. All right. So we have 1 vote for aggression. Anybody second? Thank you, Brant. Oh, there you go. It was going to be aggression. Aggression sensation. All right. 1 vote for aggression. So you're saying my combat training in Yanborn on her is a no-no and never go home deck. Oh, no. Yanborn is actually very fun with her, but combat training, you should never run that with her. Unless you're going to play it on somebody else, Mark, there is no point. Why would you... If you're trying to attack with her, then you forgot what this character is all about. But Yanborn, it can be really fun, yes, because she's playing a lot of events, and Yanborn triggers on attack events. So you can, after you attack, so it doesn't have to be a basic attack. As long as you're attacking, you can trigger a Yanborn. You want to see the Never Go Home deck? All right, I love that Never Go Home deck. It's just basically just destroying the villain with like fun cards. So we have 1 for Never Go Home, 1 for aggression. Somebody else? Like I said, I do have some obligations with. I promised Brant we were gonna play, and I'm gonna be playing Valkyrie, which is not my favorite hero. So I'm trying to learn and really lean into like her mechanically. So there you go. All right, last chance. All right, 1 and 1. Yes, I know you were kidding about the combat training. All right, so I have 1 and 1, and because you guys are very chatty, I'm gonna go randomly unless somebody else goes. All right, so guys, we're trying to decide protection or aggression. If you're in the chat, there's 4 of you guys that can still vote. 3 more that can still vote. Real quick, it takes 2 seconds to write something. I'm gonna count to 10, and then I'm gonna choose. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, oh no, 3. We got another tie. 2, 1. Okay, so since we have another tie, all right, left or right? Left or right? If you want aggression, I might have time to do both. It's aggression might go really fast. I'm trying 1 more vote, guys. All right, right. It's aggression. All right, here we go. So we will play a quick aggression deck. Null my vote. It's okay. You're good. Go home. All right. No. I might actually have time to do both. So I am just going to use and because again, there's a lot of you folks that don't have all the cards, so I'm just going to build a quick deck, and this is what I'm going to include in my deck. I'm going to include the 2 powers of aggression. I'm just going to use some of the basic cards, even though I would love to use Locus from the Nova pack because he brings back an aggression event. I'm just going to show you, since it's kind of like a Beyond the Precon series, I'll just use that like that. All right. Things we're going to add into our deck. We're going to add a Chase Them Down. We're going to add a Looking for Trouble. So that is threat removal for free. We are going to play into this combo. So we're going to use the toe-to-toe. We're going to add 2 Press the Advantages. Because I told you, we're going to have some fun with this. I'm going to have me some fun. Oh, it's true, eh? Well, you know what? Since I'm going to go into a random everything build, let's just do the Locust as our ally. I'm like, oh, I'm not doing just precon stuff now. I'm like, there you go. This is me changing my mind. I'll put a 1-for-1. I'll put 2 surprise attacks. I'm not going to go for the no quarter build. I'm going to play 2 Relentless Assaults. And let's lean into some dropkick action for this. Quick question, where can I find that match with Brant that's going to happen soon? Oh, it's going to be on Step Into the Portal. So you can just catch that there on the Step Into the Portal channel. So Hall of Heroes, because why not? And then we're just going to add one more card. We're going to add... are we adding Yonborn? We don't have that many physical cards, so we're not going to add that. We're just going to add a Marshall Prowse from the Hulk pack. Maybe add the whole... You know what? I'm just going to add the Hone Technique, because why not? And Marshall this. So let's count how many cards we have. 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Steve. 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. So I'm missing 5 cards. So there you go. So my 5 cards that I'm going to add, very simple. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to add a card that also comes in her hero kit. 23. Endurance. And she does have a bunch of superpowers. So let's just add a Death Focus that comes from the Guardians pack. And we'll just leave it like that. Done. Quixie deck. All right. I'm going to move all this nonsense and then get ready for a fight. All those nice aggression cards. All right, Mr. Rhino. I haven't fought you in forever, so let's just fight the Rhino on standard. Let's just fight him on expert because he's super easy anyway. All right. And it's going to give us a little bit more of a challenge. All right, we got 10 hit points. We got our deck. This doesn't come in. We got this. This has 3. Here we go. We're going to add our standard expert cards, which should be in my Kang that I played yesterday. So Shadows of the Past. Let's see if I see it turn 1. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and there should be one more. 10. Boom. All right. And what's the other one that comes with him? Concussion Blow. He comes with Sandman. It's coming with Bomb Scare, right? All right. I haven't played Bomb Scare in a long time. What does it have? Oh, it has the ones that confuse us. All right, done. Still think it's funny Death Focus has Doctor Strange and he doesn't have a single superpower. I do know that. That's crazy, right? 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's just mix all these cards up. Booyah, booyah, booyah. Oh, it's true. I do need my obligation. Booyah. All right, so we're going to shuffle this up. So we are getting Breaking and Taken out. And this is an encounter deck. And then this is how I shuffle so I don't break my cards and my sleeves. All right. And just quick shuffle. There we go, guys. So let's play the game. All right, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at our opening hand. So this is something we don't need. This is something that will do a lot of damage. We have a Shrink, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we do have a big hands. All right, so this only removes from the main, so we don't need this. There's only 3 threat here, so we don't need this. I don't really want to play the big hands, and there's no minions. So these are the 4 cards I'm going to get rid of. Reason why? No minions. Attack, this is going to deal more damage than a big hands. And Looking for Trouble, there's no threat on the main. And Shrink, there's no threat. So there's no point of putting those cards out. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Oh, I can almost have the combo. All right. Teen Spirit. This is always the first card you want to do. So you want to go find a Ms. Marvel card. All right, it's Red Dagger. All right, cool. So first things first, I think what we're going to do I have everything? I think I don't have enough to do the combo this turn, but I'll do it next turn. So I'm going to go, oh, and I don't have anything to remove the threat. Oh, well, I'll take 2 encounter cards on the first turn. All right, so spend 2. I'll play a Martial Prowess. I'll spend an Endurance to play a Suit. Now, I could stay an Alter Ego this turn, but let's just play. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip up, and I'm going to use this to do a surprise attack, which is going to deal 4 damage. I am going to use my Morphogenetics, bring this back, and I'm going to play it again, deal another 4 damage. So that's 8 damage with 1 card. He is down to 7. All right. And then next turn, I'll be able to drop kick, and maybe I'll be able to do some of the combo stuff. All right. Let's see. There we go. That doesn't help. That doesn't help. This helps. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this helps. So perfect. So I'll be able to drop kick the combo, bring back the drop kick, and then we'll see what else we can do. And we'll get rid of the sneak by. All right. So we're going to add 1 threat here. He's going to attack us for 3. We did not get the wiggle room, so let's just take a beating. For 5, we'll go down to 5. And then I'll laugh if I die here. Advance for 2. That goes to 3. And Stampede. So this card gains Surge. Rhino attacks you if I get stunned. So he's going to attack me. Oh man, it's dangerous. I might just die here. And I'll get stunned. Sad face Steve. All right, sad face Steve. I'm going to defend for 1. He's attacking for 4. Darn it, I should have just not exhausted. So I'm going to go down to 1. Boo. All right. Unfortunately, that happened. Whap, whap. And I'm stunned. All right. So I'm going to play a Sneak By, which is going to remove this card. Unfortunately, I can't take it back. I'm going to spend 2 to play Big Hands to bring this back. Remove my stun. It is very, very tricky, but I'm going to look for a Kamala Khan card, which is another Big Hands, which is not something I can play. All right, so I'm going to keep my surprise attack. I'm going to keep my drop kick. Not getting rid of Break It and Taken. Probably cost me the game here. 2, 4, and 5. We'll see. So 4, he's scheming for 1. That's why I love Rhino. He doesn't scheme for a lot. And then encounter is his Armored Suit. All right, we can take care of that. All right, we're going to Teen Spirit for a card. Hey, it's our friend. Do we want to save a card? We're going to use... We didn't find RM Biggin yet. We're going to use a Dropkick to play Amir Khan. Amir Khan is going to put probably a Sneak By at the bottom. Draw us a card. Hey, it's a Death Focus. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. It doesn't help us now. It doesn't really help us. All right. But we are going to be able to stun him. So what we're going to do... All right. So if I keep this... So check this out. This is how you gotta... You gotta be smart. You gotta calculate some stuff. So I won't play Death Focus, and I won't play this. But I can do 6 damage, draw a card, and then Sneak By and Stabilize. I think that's a good idea. I'm going to recover for 5. I'm going to go to 6. Oh, I won't be able to bring that card back. Ooh, Steve. I got to get a wiggle room. I'm going to stay to 1. Living on the edge. All right, I'm going to spend 1, 2, and surprise attack for 3. I'm going to drop kick for 4. He's going to go down to 3. I am going to exhaust, bring it back, and because I paid with only this, I'm going to keep this card. Ha 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 ha, so good. All right. This is a skill and a thwart. All right, I am going to spend... He is stunned. Oh, no, I didn't do that. I did 4 on his suit. He's still at 7. All right, this is what I'm going to do. I am going to use Dropkick to play a Def Focus, and then I'm going to sneak by and bring that back down to 2. All right. And hopefully I draw into that wiggle room. Best hero in Marvel Champions. Thanks, buddy. 1, 2, 3. There it is. 4. And double wiggle room. Oh, man. It's money time. Here we go. This is going to go to 3. Mr. is stunned. And the only card I'm getting is... I'm tough. All right. Well, you can be tough all you want. All right. So check this out. So I wasn't even able to play anything, which I really think it's super sad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove 1 threat. Super sad. I'm going to use Amir Khan to put Red Dagger at the bottom, unless I already did it. Nope, Red Dagger at the bottom. Draw a card. There's the Ambiguous. I am going to use Strength to play the Ambiguous. I am then going to Teen Spirit for a card. It's a Sneak By, which I definitely want to keep. I am going to use Power of Aggression to play Nakia, and I'm going to keep 1 wiggle room in hand and a Sneak By. And there we go. And then we're going to get double encounter cards here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I think we've pretty much won the game after this. So that was kind of cheeky there, not getting our wiggle rooms down to 1 health. All right. 2, 4, 5, and 6 endurance. That's going to help. It's going to go to 3 to 4, 5, 6. All right. So we are dead to an advance. It's going to surge into Shadows of the Past, of course. At least it wasn't turn 1. That's the only good part, which means Thomas Edison comes in. And then discard the top card of each player's deck for each ally and persona. So I have 2. So I'm losing 2 cards. And then advance. Surge into Master Plan, which is going to put 6 threat here. All right, a lot of problems. Let's see if we can deal with them. All right, first things first. We're going to Teen Spirit, a card. It's going to be a Big Hands. Perfect. We're going to Amir Khan. Let's just put a Sneak By at the bottom. Draw a card. Oh, we have the Home Technique. Oh, man. So many good options. Nakia is going to reduce the next card we play by 1. Are we flipping? I don't think I can play into the Home Technique right now. Because I do have the double mental, but I think I really need those Sneak Bys. Alright, so I'm just going to play the Endurance to go to 4. I'm going to flip up. I don't have anything to do when I flip. Alright. I am... This is a superpower. That's good. And this is an attack. Alright. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go 1, 2, and a Big Hands. to play a drop kick, which is just going to remove his tough, which is super sad. We are going to exhaust to bring it back. Because we played with only physicals, we get to draw a card. Yes. And that is going to give him a stunned. We are then going to use... Alright, we got to use this. We got to use this. Okay. We are then going to use 1, 2. Actually, we're just going to use 1. Hone technique to play 1 by 1. And we're going to embiggen it. So we're going to do 4 damage. Because we defeat him, we'll do 4 damage. Which removes his suit. And then... I think what I want to do, I want to keep another sneak by, and I want to keep a wiggle room. All right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to sneak by. So 6 is going to go down to 3. And I'm going to keep these and deal with double encounter cards. 2, 4, and 5. All right, that's why I wanted to keep that sneak by. All right, let's see what we do here. This is going to go to 4. He's stunned. Rhino's giving me some fun times here. There's the advance for 3. No! Darn you, Rhino. Darn you, Rhino. Gets me on the advance. All right. All right. Let's redo this. Darn you, Rhino. Darn you, Rhino. No energy, I can play anytime. Alright, I just want a quick rematch here because there's no way. I haven't played Rhino in a while and I forget about this thing. Alright, let me just redo this. Maybe we'll be a little bit luckier with our card draw this time. Rhino the Schemer, I know. Like, what are you doing, Rhino Schemer? Alright. Revenge match. Let's, I can't believe I lost. It's been a while since I played Rhino, and I forget how often you can lose to him. But, again, one of the things when you're fighting Rhino, yeah, Rhino did come to play. I'm like, alright. I think if I didn't have to deal with my shadows of the past, I would have been able to just stabilize completely and just win. That shadows plus the master plan. Oh, so then it was 6 on there, so that was kind of annoying. But what can you do when you fall in love? All right, 1. Let's see, 2, 3. 4, 5, and 6. So now we have a shrink. So we're going to keep that. And we're going to build a little bit. Oh, there you go. Booyah. So now we have some fun cards we can play. We can stun him, bring it back, shrink. Actually, we don't even need that. We can go drop kick. Let's see what we get. And we still have double resources to play other stuff. Oh, well, there you go. We get Bruno. Awesome sauce. Okay, so Bruno allows us to save some cards. So what I'm going to do... But Steve, you're still not removing threat. All right, I'll deal with it. Shrink to play Bruno. Bruno to hide a energy in front of me. I will flip up. I will play drop kick, which will deal 4 damage. I will exhaust to bring back the drop kick and draw a card. And I get the locust, which gives me an aggressive event. All right. Booyah. And I could play... I could play the locust, but then he would just die. And then I could keep a resource. All right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 2, play the locust. And what do I want to do? I think I'm going to try to keep an aggressive event. I want the press. Do I want to chase them down? Maybe I'll just keep the melee. It's an expensive card. All right, let's see what we do. And he is stunned. So we're dealing with 2 cards here. 1, 2, 3. Oh, and then we have to press the advantage. And we have a wiggle room. All right, so, but we don't have threat removal. So that's going to be a little harsh. So 1 threat. I was looking for my sneak by. He is stunned. And 2 cards. Shadows, turn 1. Assault. He wants to attack me for 3. Plus 2 is 5. I am going to play Wiggle Room. When you would take any amount of damage, prevent 3 of that damage, draw a card. So I'll prevent that damage. Ah, there's the sneak by. Yeah, baby. And then I will recur the Wiggle Room and take 2 damage, go down to 8. And then the next one is perfect. I have a guard minion. Beautiful. Alrighty then. So I can't use this. Bruno is going to give me back my double resource, and I'm going to start right away with a sneak by. Let's get rid of that breaking and taking. Money. Deal 3 damage to an enemy. Then deal 3 damage to another enemy. So this actually works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to play a melee, which is going to deal 3 damage here. And then I'm going to deal 3 damage to him. Because it's 2 separate sentences, so in the rules, if it's 2 separate sentences, you resolve the first one first. So I deal 3 damage to an enemy, which kills him. Then I deal 3 damage to another enemy. I don't have a guard. I can do it on him. All right, and that has been paid for. He can attack for 1. 7. And let's just, let's do a big hands. Let's try to finish him off quick. All right, let's do a big hands for 4 more damage. He's down to 3. And let's see what happens next. Let's flip down to Alter Ego. And look for a Kamala Khan card. It's a red dagger. He's always good to have. So we'll keep him. All right. 2, 4, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. We get to keep some cards too. This is going to go to 2, to 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my god, if he schemes out again, I'm going to be super sad. He gets his armor. Come on, Rhino. Let's find a Kamala Khan card. It's another big hands. I was hoping to find my support people, but it looks like it's not happening today. All right. What do we want to keep for later? I think we'll keep the dropkick for later. When we have a double fist and we can play it. All right. We're going to flip up. And we are going to use a big hands to do a surprise attack. And then we'll bring it back. So 4 damage on this. Then we are going to spend big hands and surprise attack to sneak by for 3. So that goes back down to 3. And let's just play an endurance to go to 11. So if melee said deal 3 damage to the villain and a minion engaged with you, it wouldn't work. Yeah, correct. It wouldn't work like that. So it just works because of here. And you know what? Let's just get rid of his armor and get rid of this guy. Because we're going to be decking out in a second. All right. There's the other sneak by and the wiggle room and Amir Khan. So all our good support stuff is here. So this is going to go to 4. He wants to attack us for 3, 4, 5. So we're going to wiggle room, draw a card. Thank you for that suit. We are going to exhaust, bring our wiggle room back. Encounter card is, I'm tough. You can be tough all day, sir. All right, so let's start building a couple things. So we're gonna spend Relentless Assault to play our suit. Our suit and wiggle room to sneak by. Brings that down to 1. And then we are going to flip down. We're gonna use Bruno to give us back our dropkick. Dropkick is gonna play Amir Khan. Amir Khan is going to put a wiggle room at the bottom. No, actually, not a wiggle room. Let's just put something we're not going to play. A big hands. We're going to use our and draw card. There's our embiggen. And then we're going to Teen Spirit. And we got Nakia. All right, well, there you go. That's what happens. All right, we're going to use Martial Prowess to play Nakia, and we're going to save the other one. We're going to take double encounter cards here, but we should be good. 1, 2, 3. So since it's a superpower, I can use the Def Focus to reduce the cost, and then we're good. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, we have our support cards. So it's going to scheme for 2, so 3, 4. Advance. Hard to keep down. He's going to go back up to 7 and advance to take 2 damage. Let's just take 2 damage. Go down to 9. All right, sweet Christmas. Let's start using our Teen Spirit. We get a wiggle room. We are going to spend Nakia. And I need double mental I don't have, which is sad. Nakia and a home technique. Then I don't play the Def Focus. Interesting. What do I do? There's nothing to put at the bottom. All right, let's just put a Def Focus out with Nakia. Actually, all right, well, I'm not going to put anything at the bottom. I'm just going to draw a card. There's that Martial Prowess again. All right. Is he a guard? He's not a guard. All right, let's just flippity up. Oh, wait. Are we saving a card? Let's save that home technique. Maybe we'll be able to play it later. We're going to flip up. I kind of want to play 1 by 1. So let's just play 1 by 1. So I'm going to use the suit to play 1 by 1, which is going to deal 2 damage here. Because it defeats an enemy, takes it back, I am going to use my ability to bring that back. I'm going to use 1 by 1 and Def Focus to play Embiggen. And I am going to use Dropkick and Big Hands to play Martial Prowess. And now, oh my gosh, I'm jelly right now. Jelly. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we got the sneak by. We got to chase them down. All we need is a minion. All right, this is going to go to 5. Watch me get that advance. He's going to attack me for 3. Plus 1. I'm going to use Wiggle Room. Draw a card. And do I want to bring it back? Yeah, I'm just going to bring it back. And then advance, charge. All right, cool beans. All right, so can I defeat an enemy here? I can deal 4 damage. Let's see. I don't have the shrink. All right, so I can play this, deal 2 damage, so 4 damage. I can't bring it back. I'm close though. So close. So close. All right, so I'm going to use the suit and press the advantage to sneak by to remove 3 threat. That goes down to 2. Oh, wait. Wait. Bruno's going to give me back my home technique. I need 3 cards to play that. Maybe I can finish him off this turn. If I spend 1, 2, 3, it's not a skill, but then I lose that. But then I can chase them down, bring that down. All right, let's see. I need double mental. I need the double mental. Why? Rats. Because if I play this, I am exhausted though. If I play this, I put the hone technique down. Then I'm doing 5 damage. And then I can't bring it back. So I don't think, maybe it's not worth it. Yeah, it's not worth it right now. Okay, so let's go back. So chase them down and the suit to do a sneak by for 3. That goes down to 2. I am then going to use martial prowess to do a press the advantage to deal 4 damage. He's down to 3. And I am going to flip down Kamala Khan's ability, find myself a wiggle room. Amir Khan is going to put a sneak by at the bottom, draw a card. It's another sneak by. I'm going to use Relentless Assault and Nakia for 2 and a wiggle room to play Red Dagger. He's going to remove the last threat. And I'm going to put a sneak by under Bruno. All right, cool. All right, I'm taking him out this turn. I'm keeping that Wiggles. Oh, there it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, day late and a buck short. All right, so 1, 2, 2. And a +1 attack. All right, he's never attacking me. Okay, here we go. Kamala Khan's ability for a sneak by. Amir Khan to put a wiggle room, draw a card. Nakia to reduce the next card we play by 1. We're going to use Bruno to bring this. We're going to use our double to play the home technique. Oh my god, it's so good. Yeah, baby. All right, it's so good. Okay, so the weird thing is dropkick and home technique don't really work well. So that's sad. We don't need to recover. We don't need to do anything. We're going to flip up. I'm going to use 1, 2, 3. Power of aggression and martial prowess to do a drop kick for 4, which is going to flip him. He's going to gain a tough. I'm going to get stunned. I'm going to take this card back and draw a card because I played with only physicals. And then he's on stage 3. He now has 16 health, which is pretty much dead. Skill, condition. So we're going to spend 1 and a Hall of Heroes to play a Shrink, which is kind of a day late and a buck short. We are going to... Yeah, I think this is all we're going to do. We're going to keep our melee because that will allow us to deal a ton of damage for next turn. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 for a drop kick. Remove. I could actually use... Yeah, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 for a drop kick. Remove my stunned. And he's going to remove his tough. Money. All right. This game's over. 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, here we go. This is going to go to 3. He's attacking for 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. Plus 2 is 10 damage. So we're going to Wiggle Room. Draw a card, which is a big hands. If I exhaust, so I'm taking 7 damage, I go down to 2. All right. And I'm stunned, which is super annoying. Oh no, does that stun me? Oh, no. Okay, so, all right, I'm going to go down to 2 health. I'm not bringing back that Wiggle Room. Oh, wait, I am bringing back the Wiggle Room. Yeah, I am going to bring it back. Sorry about that. And I'm going to... Can't play it right now. So I'm playing it now because I've already used it. I have to finish his attack. So I go down to 2. And then that gets discarded. And his encounter card is... another charge. All right, well, you're not going to live to see that other charge, my friend. All right. 1, 2... and a Wiggle Room. So, oh no, I need a mental. 1, 2, 3. So, mental to trigger this. Oh, it's too bad. I'm going to melee to do 6, 8 damage. Do I embiggen it? I'm just going to do 6 damage. So, he's down to 10. All right. I'm not going to bring it back. I am then, because I can't bring it back. I'm just short 2. Oh, wait, no, I have it. I'm going to use Def Focus for 1 and a Drop Kick to do a Big Hands. And I'm bigging it for 6. He's down to 4. Red Dagger is going to punch for 2, come back to my hand, and spend a mental, a physical, and a lightning to do 2 damage, and he's gone. Boom. Drop the mic. Done. All right, there we go. Very fun, Ms. Marvel. Love it, love it, love her. All right, revenge has been taken. There were the advances at the bottom of the deck. That's always nice to see. There you go. So Rhino the Schemer came close a couple times. I hadn't played Rhino in a while. I forgot how fun he can be. Just hosing you. Double advance. All right, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you guys want to keep watching, you can go to Step Into the Portal. And you can have some fun there with Brent and myself. I think we're playing Mutagen Formula. I think we're doing Nova and Valkyrie are the heroes we're going to be playing. So you guys can check that out over at Step Into the Portal. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this this kind of explains how you use Ms. Marvel. Because that's really what you want to see, you know. Really, don't be afraid to go to Alter Ego. I did lose that one game. It's going to happen once in a while. But most of the time, especially with a Rhino that can scheme for 1, it's a risk I'm always willing to take. And then you can just stabilize here. All right, so guys, I hope you enjoyed this game. Keep on playing Marvel Champions. And remember to just have fun and play the game. I'll check you guys out. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it. And leave those comments down below. Toodaloo.